Taiwan is bursting with heaps of fun places to explore. Join me, Amber Hatfield, as I hit up travel hotspots, soak up some culture, and hunt down hidden gems. Let's go! Welcome back to another exciting episode of Let's Go. I'm your host, Amber Hatfield, and today we are embarking on a unique adventure in Taiwan. We are going to be taking a peek into the exciting world of nature and wildlife by exploring herping. Herping is the interesting pursuit of finding and observing reptiles and amphibians in their natural habitat. Taiwan is a great place for this. It's got a rich biodiversity and varied landscapes, meaning it is a herper's paradise. From lush forests to misty mountains and vibrant wetlands, this island is home to an incredible array of reptile and amphibian species. In this episode, we will be talking to the self-proclaimed crazy herper, Liu Rui Wei, and he is going to share how he got started with his unusual hobby, tell us all about what kinds of snakes he's found while herping in Taiwan, and more. I hope you enjoy this episode. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background, and also how you got into doing wildlife photography and doing herping?
So my name is Liu Rui Wei, and everybody calls me Xiao Wei. I'm a study in National Taiwan University now. I'm undergraduate student, and I'm double major in forestry and civil engineering. The first time I doing herping is 5 years ago when I was still a high school student. My biology teacher, he grouped a team for us. We never heard herping before. So he just say, I just want to take you to looking for some snakes or frog. And because I live in Tainan, Tainan is not actually a friendly place for herping because too many houses. If you want to go herping, you're looking for the trail in the mountains. So we go to Kenting National Park. It was a wonderful park in Pingtung, south of Taiwan. And the first time I've been there at night, I feel like, it's a little bit scary, but it's cool. It's cool. And I'm lucky because I found my first snake there. It was a habu. It's not actually a obvious snake to find. And I was so happy because teachers walked in front of me and I still found a snake. So I feel finding animals and the joy makes me feel unreal. Because many trail at daytime, so many people been there and you have no idea how many snakes will show up there at night. And when I was in NTU, when I was still a freshman, one day I talking with my senior that, I love herping. I found a habu. So my seniors just took me to Yangmingshan National Park. And it's actually terrible experience because it's in winter. So only one snake. It was a tired snake. But I still think maybe I should start herping by myself in my university life. So I'm start crazy herping and make some friend 3 years ago, and I'm gonna start herping and just like that.
I only heard about herping myself maybe like a few months ago, and I'm sure there's probably quite a lot of people who aren't really sure what herping totally is or haven't heard that word before. So can you kind of explain more about what herping is or what it means?
So there's a word called herpetology. So herpetology is zoology of amphibians and reptiles, like snakes, frogs, lizards, and salamanders. It was cool creatures. So the way you finding these animals, mostly snakes and frogs, we call it herping. But when you do herping, you'll find some cool stuff like a lot of insects and spiders or mammals. You have big chance to finding mammals if you are herping at night. So I think now herping is not just like finding snake and frog. It's just finding anything at night. You can also call it herping.
Oh, okay. And so when I was looking through herping pictures and things like that, And I started to think, oh, I wonder if any people, when they herp, like, do they try to catch these animals? Does any herping involve, like, catching animals, or is it only just looking at them and photographing them?
It was a nice question for me. I know many people would say online that if you love the animals, the best way to treat them is don't touch them. Even don't try to find them. It's the best way to treat animal if you love. But the people actually love animals can help yourself to finding animals like this. So I think the least things to do is you do nice to them. For example, the snake. The snake you can just handle it gentle, and maybe it's sometimes the snake won't feel like you're handling if you're doing so gentle. And when you're looking for these creatures and you mildly touch them, makes you feel the nature. So I think the way you treat animal is important. Like many herper will pause the snake because the snake you found in the wild, maybe it's just like a long stick and it's kind of ugly in photography. So many people will photograph it for too long. I mean, for too long, it's like you will keep it for 2 hours or 3 hours, just want to take a good photo. But I think if you find a snake and you really want to photograph it, you just cover by a towel or a bottle. And it will just curl like a ball. And you can just easily photograph it. And it was a American style and Singapore style. But many Taiwan people don't know the way to pose snake.
Yeah, because I actually saw on one of your Instagram posts that you wrote something about, I've met a lot of foreign herpers recently, and I think the way that foreign herpers and Taiwanese herpers do it is kind of different. Is that what you mean?
It's really, really different. There's a Chinese culture in Taiwan photographers. They just want the snake's head will look up. I think a little bit Chinese culture in there. But actually, many countries' herpers style will make a difference. Like if you are American, they just want to look a whole body of snake, and no matter how it curls like a ball, it doesn't matter. But if you are Southeast Asia herper, they would love to make the snakes more nature-like.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I never would have really thought about those differences. Let's talk a little bit about what kind of reptiles, what kind of amphibians, snakes that you might find in Taiwan. So what are some of the common ones that you find here in Taiwan?
There are so many common snakes I will see in Taiwan. Common snake species, I guess it's about 11 to 13. It's common snake you can see. But if you want to find snake at night, 6 or 7 species, it was a wonderful night. You can find many common snakes species in Yamishan. Like most common snake is bamboo pit viper. It was a viper, it's venomous, and the whole body was just green and viper-like and red eye, red tails. So common. I found 700 bamboo pit viper last year.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, so you record how many? You record everything that you find on a certain night?
Yeah, I will do things like that. I just want to know how many snake I found in whole years.
Yeah.
Taiwan habu, also a viper. The patterns on its body, just like the falling leaves. So it was quite standard because it's also a venomous snake.
Okay. And it's really camouflaged then, so you can't really find it easily.
Yeah. You can also find red banded snake, mock viper, greater green snake. Greater green snake is a snake like everybody likes. It's not venomous and it's easy to handle. It's beautiful. Whole body was green. It's beautiful.
Okay.
And cat snake, big eyes, like cat eyes. We call it cat snake. It's mildly venomous, but it's okay if it bites you. And it's boiga species. And there are only one boiga species in Taiwan, but many boiga species in Southeast Asia. And this kind of snake just has really, really long body because he wants to go from one tree to another tree.
So how does Taiwan's weather and climate affect some of the animals that you might see here in terms of how wet Taiwan is, how humid and things like that?
Because Taipei is wet. So if it's wet, there's snail and slug. If there's a like a snail, there's a slug snake.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a snake. Only eats snail or slugs, and it's totally not dangerous. It will never bite you. I can't figure out a way it bite you. And it was small and it was cute. Like common snake like that.
And then you also, I guess, find other things like frogs,
Oh,
salamanders, things like this.
Yeah, I mean frogs in Taiwan, it's only 1 or 2 species. It's really hard to find, but other frogs is so common, and like you can find swinhoe's frog, Ladusi's frog, Conda's frog, and maybe if you have better luck, you can find Taipei tree frog. It was a green frog, so cute.
Yeah, those tree frogs with the big feet.
Yeah,
I like those. I think they look cute.
Yeah, but in Taiwan, the frog species, it's quite boring because I have been to Borneo once, and do you know how Borneo have more than 200 of frog species? They were so diverse. I love Borneo. So I think Taiwan's frog is a little bit boring, but not offense to the frog lovers. There's many people doing frog investigation. It was a activity different from herping.
Okay.
They doing frogs investigation and write down the recording the amount of frogs and the location of frog. And frog lovers really love to do these things. Yeah. And the salamanders in Taiwan are all difficult to find. I mean, so hard to find because they usually under the rocks, and you have to go up the mountains and flip all rocks and looking for salamanders down there. And it also the first protected species. It was the endangered species in Taiwan. So I think few people will do that if you are not a crazy herper.
Okay. Yeah. But you are a crazy
herper.
Yeah,
I am a crazy herper.
Let's talk about how you identify the different species or that you see. So, I mean, I guess for you, because you're a student in kind of a related field of this, then you already know them? Or how do you kind of find out? Do you just Google what you want to see and then go look for that thing? Or
so because I have been herping for 3 years, so I can easily identify if there's just a part of body like tail. I just looking for patterns, or even it's just a dark snake. Like many people will share the photos, like take a photos, and they will ask on Facebook group like what snake species is that? Because people afraid of snake, they maybe will photograph it very, very far away. Like you just can ID that is a snake. Right? But in my experience, I can 90% of time I can just easily ID them. But if you are a rookie herper or you want to seeking for chance to recognize this snake, I would recommend a app or a website called iNaturalist.
Okay.
iNaturalist is a wonderful website for you to recognize all these animals, like plants or animals, or you can find on iNaturalist. And there's a location on iNaturalist. You can print the location on. Like, for example, you want to find Taipei's reptiles. You just circle the Taipei area and looking for reptiles. And all reptiles what's recorded in Taipei will show up, and you can know how many and what species on their Taipei.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Like I do the same things in Borneo. I don't know how many species in Borneo, but I do on iNaturalist. I circle the whole Borneo and I looking for snake species. Like there's hundreds of snake, and you can saw it on there. So everybody can do this kind of things. I think it's good for research because you can also find snake and you put it on iNaturalist. There's another records on that. So it's quite helpful. And but if you just want to know how many species of in Taiwan snake species, you can just Google a snake of Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to identify. There's a overall introduction of snake there, or for example, you want to herping in Hong Kong. There's a snake of Hong Kong website. It was a very very veteran herpers build a website like that, and just yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, there's and snake of Taiwan is enough for you.
Cool. I want to find out about dangerous snakes. So what species of venomous snakes are there in Taiwan, and which ones are you likely to see or encounter?
In Taiwan, we call it the big six venomous snake. There are bamboo pit viper and habu, Taiwan habu, and cobra. Cobra is the snake will hood up. Everybody knows the cobra. And 100 pacer, it was a viper that have sharp nose. And Russell's viper, and only in south and east part of Taiwan. And many bandit crate. Many bandit crate is just like black and white pattern on its whole body. It's beautiful. And I think the big six venomous snake in Taiwan, you can only encounter like 4 species: cobra and bamboo pit viper and Taiwan habu and the many bandit crate. So the cobras often run into
residential area.
Residence area, the house. So maybe more people will find the cobras in their house. So you have to beware of cobras. And if you are on the trail of the mountains, I think the most snake you have to wear is habu, the Taiwan habu, because like I said, the patterns and the colors just look like fallen leaf. And if you are a rookie herpers, you never herping before, or you're herping just 10 times or 20 times, it's still hard for you to find a habu on the trail. Yeah, so it's the venomous snake you have to beware of. But there are other venomous snake like pacer, 100 pacer, or coral snake. There are Magellan's coral snake and Soda's coral snake and mountain pit viper and Alishan habu, like that. It was all rare snake that you can't easy to see.
That's all for this week's episode of Let's Go. I really hope you enjoyed my chat with Liu Rui Wei. I found it very interesting to learn all about the different snakes that you can see in Taiwan. And you can join in again next week where we'll continue our chat with him. See you next time.